Hi there people, welcome to this video. Today I'll be doing the Stranded Dead mission on Nightmare difficulty with the Assassin. The general modifier for this mission is reduced healing. So you can still use, I'll be using the group vanish, but you could also use refreshing vanish. You'll just get less from healing abilities in general. Luckily, this is a pretty good mission for doing stealth. So, except for the first part, of course. But I'll show that. On this mission, I decided to do something different. I decided to record my first attempt, so I can show how I go into the mission and what I'm looking for, what I'm thinking. So you can actually apply this to like basically all missions, but so here in the first part, it's pretty simple. You have 4 waves of enemies. The first wave, 1 ghost, and then the second 2 ghosts and 1 disciple. The third wave, 2 ghosts, and fourth wave, 3 ghosts and 1 disciple. So I like to start by using the ranged weapon, as the ghost appears quite a bit far away. So you can actually line up a shot. After you kill it, you will have a disciple come up. So I pop the vanish and assassinate it. But I would just, it really depends on the class, if you're using like a samurai or something else. Focus on the disciple, because you can't really kill the enemies if because of the healing they get. So kill the disciple and then you can deal with the others. The ghosts have the Ronin, the straw hat move set, so they do have the unblockable attack. When they put their katana back on the sheath, you can basically do 3 things, so to speak. First one, you can actually, they will move very slowly, so you can shoot them with your ranged weapon. You can also attack first, usually with a heavy attack. If you are using stone stance, for example, as I am, the heavy attack with Stone Master is very quick. Usually if there is an Oni treasure, the Oni treasure will be near the docks on the frozen lake. And the scroll for this mission is high up on the pagoda, so you can come up here using the grappling hook, and the scroll will be there. And just in case you don't know, you actually don't have fall damage in Legends, so you can jump from as high up as you want and you won't take damage. The first part doesn't have any modifiers, even though it has the disciples. The disciples is something that will appear in all parts. On the second part you have Oni, and on the third part you have even more Oni. So that's they are not crazy modifiers, it's just normal stuff. I think everyone is already used to dealing with Onis. We have dogs, also Oni dogs, in this second part of the mission, which is also part of the change, so to speak, compared to the gold version. And that's basically it, the disciples and the Oni dogs, for the difference to the gold mission. There's usually 2 disciples on the first part, as I mentioned, 2 on the second, and 2 on the third part. though the third part can actually have more than just 2. So these are just averages, so you can keep in mind. When I am dealing with the Oni, I try to shoot a couple of darts, and I check to see if I can assassinate. So this is basically something I do at the beginning of the, or on my first run. I usually record at the second or third run. By the way, if you are looking for the scroll on the second part, it's over there on those rocks. And what I do is to sort of establish benchmarks. So I need to know which enemies I can assassinate, and which enemies, how many darts I need to assassinate other enemies that I can't assassinate straight away. So I have these mental notes that I get every time I start the mission. So for example, you'll see when I get to another Oni, I will do things a bit slower because unlike the other time in which I had the high ground, this time I was not in the high ground, and I know that will affect my damage because I have what is it called, the assassinate from above damage. So I wait, and that's pretty important. By the way, on these houses, there's that hatch. There's a hatch that you can use to go to the upper level. I like to use it quite a lot. And again, just really quick, there's a second position for the scroll over those small houses or granaries. I have no idea what they are. Near those stacks of material. So if it's not on the rocks, it's usually there, but most often than not, it's on the rocks. Anyway, I like to keep these mental notes because it helps quite a lot when you're doing the mission and when you're planning what you're going to do. So here I use 1 dart and I see that I can't assassinate it. It really was a very small difference, so it's not as if I wouldn't be able to deal with it, but I like to keep the assassination playstyle. That's what I like to do, so I prefer to do it in stealth. I'm lucky to have the disciple so close, because again, it should be your priority. If you end up making some sort of mistake, if you don't kill the disciple, it can be quite tough to deal with the enemies. Here you can see there are 4 enemies. The enemies can be quite hard to see depending on the situation. There are ghosts, but you can see through the fog, so I like to keep that and like walk around a bit using the fog to see if they're enemies. You can also use the lightning. When there's lightning, they will appear briefly. But in general, there is 1 disciple and 4 ghosts in this last moment here. So with them dealt with, I come to see the Mongols being slaughtered by the ghosts. And here's the interesting thing: if you like to speedrun, you actually only need to kill the Mongols. So when the Mongols are all down, the ghosts disappear. So if you're trying to do things fast, kill the Mongols and the ghost will disappear. You will get the objective thing and you can keep going. I grab the objective, and there is a point where you can stand that the Tori gate will appear. So in this last I use the ground as reference. It's some plants, and you can stay there and it will transport you instantly, because that's where the Tori gate appears. So third part, we have a lot more Oni and very strong Oni. Luckily, they will only appear on the final part. So in terms of difficulty, I don't think this mission is too hard. I think the modifiers are... I mean, the disciples are quite hard to deal with always. But the modifiers are not too extreme. They're quite not easy to deal with, but they're certainly not too bad. So I approach the first house, and there are 2 disciples here. I think in this third part, actually, I think there are 3 disciples in general. So I go for the first one because it was quite vulnerable and exposed. So I take the chance, and here I kill the Mongols and I go for the second disciple. Sometimes there may be enemies that you can't assassinate. For example, there might be a commander, Mongol commander or something that you can't assassinate. Then just go straight for the disciple, because you won't be able to use the blowgun unless you have like staggered damage and you just stagger them, but I don't think that's a good idea. So I killed the 2 ones on the bottom floor, and I can use again that hatch to quickly come to the first floor, or well, and kill the ghost over there. So I really like the hatch, and this type of this model of house is very common, so you can use that quite a lot. I really hate going up the ladders and walking around, because there's usually nothing there. So there's the third disciple, but I'm going to move to the right first. There are a lot of places you can get ammunition and supplies in this mission, so you can use it quite a bit more in this third part. The interesting thing here is there's a barrel near the place where you'll fight the last enemies, near the huge tree, and this is the barrel that deals like I don't know how to call it, that makes enemies fight against each other. In that house that the barrel is one of the possible locations for a disciple. So you may have to go up and kill the disciple over there, but it's not too hard. I use the ultimate because I really want to kill the disciple quick, and I'm short on patience. But anyway, this second house, there are 4 ghosts, and ideally I like to approach it from another side, but because I was kind of stupid and used the ultimate, I ended up coming here, so I just drop a smoke bomb. There's usually 1 ghost in each of these positions. So if you come from this like upper side here and approach, you can actually go through the window and assassinate the guy inside, and then assassinate the ones on the outskirts of the house. So it's quite easy. Then I just kill this one, and for the last house, so to speak, I could follow here, but I prefer to go to the other side, and because I think it's easier to hit the assassinations. It will take a few seconds for the ghosts to appear, so I can assassinate that enemy and hide. Then you can see the Mongol archer is shooting at a ghost, but the ghost doesn't come here. So I can assassinate the ghost, and then there's the other ghost that is looking this way. So I cross and I go up the rocks. I missed the attack, but I get the assassination later. So there's also another ghost that is usually cutting wood on the back. So if you follow this route, or go through the door that is slightly to the right of the path I went, you can actually kill it without being seen, which kind of feels odd because it looks like it should be looking at you, but I mean, that's something you get used to in this game. Like sometimes you don't know if they are actually looking at you, even though they have their heads like looking straight at you. It's interesting. So I hide on the tree for the final fight, and you can see the barrel over there. So as the enemies spawn, I immediately shoot the barrel, so the enemies caught by the blast will start pulling the attention and fighting each other. If you want, you can shoot some darts before, so like, for example, kill the dogs, though there are a lot of Oni brutes, and they have those AoE attacks, which are usually very good at dealing with the dogs. So the dogs don't have too much HP, they are not like the biggest threat. So this makes quite easy to see the enemies also, because they are fighting each other and they're constantly attacking, but you should also pay attention to that, because you may be hit by an attack that was not meant for you. So but in general, I think it makes the mission much easier. So I quite like this mission because of the stealth aspect, and I can do quite well in it. So yeah, I would recommend the smoke bomb and all that good stuff for assassinations, for dealing with the disciples, and I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.